The research vessel cut through the waves, its hull slicing through the azure waters with purpose. The Caribbean sun beat down on the deck, casting a golden glow over the ship. Dr. Eleanor Hartley adjusted her sunglasses, shielding her eyes from the bright glare. Excitement thrummed through her veins. The Bermuda Triangle beckoned, its mysteries calling to her. Years of meticulous research had led to this pivotal moment. This expedition was her life's dream, a culmination of her relentless pursuit of knowledge. Eleanor had assembled a crack team of specialists, each an expert in their field. Mark, the sonar expert, kept a watchful eye on the equipment, his fingers dancing over the controls. Sophia, the archaeologist, bounced with anticipation, her tools ready for action. David, the seasoned diver, checked his gear one last time, ensuring everything was in perfect order. Their mission to find the lost city of Xeropolis, a legend that had captivated explorers for centuries. Legend said it vanished beneath the waves centuries ago. The sonar beeped, breaking the silence. Mark pointed to a blurry image on the screen, his eyes widening in surprise. A massive structure lay below, hidden beneath the ocean floor, shrouded in mystery. A thrill shot through Eleanor, her heart pounding with excitement. Could this be it, the city of myth and legend? The answer seemed tantalizingly close. The crew held their breath, their eyes glued to the screen, anticipation hanging in the air. The ship changed course, drawn towards the mystery lurking beneath the waves, its path set by the coordinates. As they neared the coordinates, the sky darkened, clouds gathering ominously. The wind picked up, whipping the calm sea into a frenzy, waves crashing against the hull. A storm was brewing, appearing out of nowhere, as if summoned by the triangle itself. Eleanor felt a shiver run down her spine, a sense of foreboding settling over her. The Bermuda Triangle was living up to its fearsome reputation, its power undeniable. The storm hit with the force of a hurricane. Waves crashed over the deck, tossing them like a toy. The wind howled, a banshee's scream tearing through the rigging. Fear etched itself onto the faces of the crew. The ship groaned under the relentless assault. Navigation equipment went haywire. The compass spun wildly. Static crackled over the radio. They were lost, at the mercy of the storm. Eleanor gripped the railing, her knuckles white. She'd faced storms before, but nothing like this. This felt different. Through the driving rain, Eleanor saw a wall of water rising before them, a rogue wave towering over the ship. It was going to swallow them whole. She braced herself, the roar of the ocean filling her ears. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the storm stopped. The sea fell calm. The sun broke through the clouds, bathing them in an eerie light. Silence descended, heavy and absolute. Eleanor looked around, her heart pounding. They were alive, but they were no longer alone. The storm had pushed them directly over the submerged city. The sonar image was now crystal clear. It showed streets, buildings and plazas, an entire city, perfectly preserved beneath the ocean. Eleanor felt a surge of awe and trepidation. This was Xeropolis. It was real. She gave the order to launch the submersible. Eleanor and David descended slowly, the murky blue engulfing them. As they went deeper, the city came into view. It was breathtaking. Towers of shimmering crystal rose from the seabed. Strange symbols glowing faintly adorned the buildings. The city seemed to hum with an unseen energy. They landed the submersible near what looked like a temple. It was an architectural marvel, untouched by time. An immense dome of blue crystal crowned the structure. David checked their diving gear. They were tethered to the submersible, their lifeline to the surface. Eleanor took a deep breath and entered the water. The moment she did, she felt a presence. Something ancient and powerful watched from the depths. It wasn't hostile, but it wasn't welcoming either. She felt a chill, and it had nothing to do with the cold ocean water. They swam towards the temple, their lights cutting through the gloom, illuminating the ancient structures that had long been forgotten by time. Schools of bioluminescent fish scattered before them, painting the water with fleeting streaks of light, creating a mesmerizing dance of colors in the dark abyss. The silence was broken only by the hiss of their breathing, a constant reminder of their fragile existence in this alien world. As they neared the temple, the feeling of being watched intensified, an eerie sensation that sent shivers down their spines. Eleanor felt a low hum vibrating through the water, resonating deep in her chest, as if the temple itself was alive and communicating with her. It seemed to emanate from the temple itself, a beacon of ancient power and mystery. She reached out to touch a glowing symbol etched into the wall, her fingers trembling with anticipation. The moment her fingers made contact, images flooded her mind, overwhelming her senses with vivid visions. She saw a civilization at its peak, thriving with knowledge and innovation. Xeropolis, a city of knowledge and wonder, powered by a mysterious energy source. Then a cataclysm, a disaster that changed everything. The ocean rising, swallowing the city whole, leaving nothing but ruins behind. A desperate attempt to preserve their knowledge, a sacrifice made in the hopes of future discovery. Eleanor gasped, breaking the connection, her mind reeling from the intensity of the vision. She had seen the city's past, felt its pain, and the weight of its history pressed heavily on her. But who were they trying to reach? What message were they trying to convey? They moved deeper into the temple, following a wide corridor lined with more glowing symbols, each one telling a part of the story. The air grew heavy, charged with an unseen energy, a palpable tension that made every breath feel labored. Eleanor felt a tightness in her chest, a sense of foreboding that she couldn't shake off. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were stepping into something sacred, something that had been hidden for a reason, something they were not meant to find, a secret that had been buried deep beneath the waves for centuries. The corridor opened into a vast chamber, revealing an awe-inspiring sight. In the center, suspended in a beam of light, floated a crystalline orb, radiating an ethereal glow. It pulsed with a soft inner light, casting gentle shadows on the ancient walls. The hum Eleanor had felt resonated from the orb, washing over them in waves of energy, filling the chamber with a palpable sense of power. This was the heart of Xeropolis, the source of its power, the very essence of the ancient city. As they approached the orb, spectral figures began to coalesce around them, emerging from the shadows. Tall humanoid forms, shimmering with an otherworldly light, stood before them. They were the guardians of Xeropolis, bound to protect the orb for all time, their duty unending. Eleanor felt a pang of sympathy for these beings, trapped for centuries in their eternal vigil. David drew his knife, fear flashing in his eyes, ready to defend against any threat. Eleanor put a hand on his arm, a calming gesture to ease his tension. These beings didn't feel threatening, not yet, their presence more curious than hostile. They seemed more curious than aggressive, their eyes filled with questions. The guardians surrounded them, their forms shifting, their voices whispering on the edge of hearing like a distant echo. They were trying to communicate, to understand why these strangers had come, what their intentions were. Eleanor felt a pull towards the orb, a desire to touch it, to understand its secrets, to unlock its mysteries. But something held her back, a sense of foreboding, a sense of caution, of respect for the power it held, and the history it represented. This city, this orb, had remained hidden for centuries, untouched by time. What right did she have to disturb it? The question lingered in her mind, heavy with the weight of history. The guardians, sensing Eleanor's hesitation, grew agitated. Their forms flickered, their whispers becoming more insistent. They wanted them to leave, to return to the world above. This place, this power, was not for them. David, his fear turning to anger, raised his knife again. "We should take the orb," he said, his voice muffled by the water. "It belongs in a museum, not down here." Eleanor shook her head. She understood his impulse, the desire to possess something so ancient and powerful. But some things were best left undisturbed. She looked at the guardians, their forms shimmering with trapped energy. They were not just protectors of the orb, they were prisoners of the past. To take the orb would be to condemn them to an eternity of servitude. Eleanor knew what she had to do. "We're leaving," she said, her voice firm despite the tremor in her heart. She turned away from the orb, from the guardians, and swam back towards the corridor. David hesitated, his gaze lingering on the orb before following. He didn't understand, but he trusted her judgment. As they swam back through the silent city, Eleanor couldn't shake the feeling of eyes on their backs. The weight of the Guardian's gaze, filled with sorrow and resignation, pressed down on her. They had been given a choice, to claim the power of Xeropolis or to walk away. Reaching the submersible, they climbed in, sealing the hatch behind them. As they began their ascent, Eleanor glanced back at the city, now fading into the gloom. The orb pulsed once, a final farewell. She had looked into the heart of Xeropolis and seen its wonders, but she had also glimpsed the cost of wielding such power. Back on they were greeted with relief. The storm had passed, leaving behind calm seas and clear skies. It was as if it had never happened. Eleanor knew better. The Bermuda Triangle held secrets, ancient and powerful. Xeropolis was proof of that. David confronted Eleanor, his voice tight with frustration. "We should have taken the orb," he insisted. "It could have changed everything." Eleanor met his gaze, her expression resolute. "Some things are more important than knowledge," she replied. "Some things deserve our respect, even our fear." They sailed away from the coordinates, leaving Xeropolis to its watery slumber. Eleanor knew the location would be safe with her. She would erase all records of their discovery, bury the truth deep. The world was not ready for Xeropolis. Some secrets are best left buried. The experience changed Eleanor. She had looked into the abyss of the past and seen the potential for both wonder and destruction. The Guardian's warning echoed in her mind. Some knowledge is too dangerous, some powers too great to control. She had made the right choice, she was sure of it. But as they sailed towards the rising sun, Eleanor couldn't shake the feeling that Xeropolis was not finished with her. The city and its secrets would stay with her, a constant reminder of the mysteries that lie hidden beneath the waves, and the choice she had made to leave them undisturbed.